Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to, you know what we do every Wednesday at this time, right? It is What's Next podcast for women. I'm excited. I have in the holding room my guests for the evening. How exciting to, can't wait for you guys to see who it is. But before I go any further, grab your favorite evening beverage. Look, I got mine today, you guys. Normally I've already have drunk all my evening beverage. I did eat my snacks. It was getting a little late here, but grab your pen and paper, grab your girlfriends and sit back. You guys, I have another co-host is amazing and she's a rocking it. And so you guys want to hear how she's doing it and so you can get moving on your what's next. But before we bring her in here, I want you all to know tonight's show we have some sponsors. So the first sponsor is all about Hurt and Poet LLC. She is the content writer where she will help flex your voice through the writing. The CEO is Elisa Hurt. If you need more information on someone who can do some content writing for you, allowing you to flex your voice through the writing, she is your connector and she is your woman. I will definitely drop it in the feed below. Today is also Win Wednesday, you guys. You know how we do. We love to celebrate all the wins, right? So with today, Win Wednesday, what's your win for this week? I can't wait to hear your wins. Drop them in the feed below. And I think that's it for right now. If you have any questions, if you would like to ask us anything, drop it in the feed. We'll definitely be on here to serve you. So without further ado, let me bring her in here. And we have Miss Tiffany. Woohoo!
Hey,
How are you?
how are you, Pam?
I am good. It's so good seeing you.
Yes, it's good to see you as well. I mean, I know we see each other in passing on different posts
Yeah,
and
but
stuff,
you know
but
what? I was like telling everybody, oh my goodness, I get to bring on a true mentor I've been following since we've been connected. I'm like, my mom was like, my dad even was like, who is she? Look, he was on the phone. Now, you know how parents are. He's like, who? I'm like, Dad, I can't with you right now. And he was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yeah, Dad, I told him how we met. And I said, Dad, I've been following her. He's like, really? And he's from Detroit. He's like, well, what part? I'm like, Dad, I don't even know. I don't
well,
know.
next time you could tell him I'm from Joy Road. Now that he'll know
Oh, no.
exactly. Yeah.
He was drilling me. I'm like, Dad, I got to go. We'll deal with it another time. But yes, so first of all, thank you for joining me. I'm so honored and blessed. I have Miss Tiffany on here, the comedian, that is just so amazing that's here. So you guys, let me tell you a little bit about Tiffany and then she'll talk more. So Tiffany is not only a comedian, she is also an author. She's also a chef, you guys. She's a vegan chef, which I've been following her on that. She has a cookbook out, so you guys will get to hear a little bit more about the cookbook because, yes, I'm buying a cookbook. As right, no, she also is a speaker. She also is a radio personality. She has her own show, so I'm really blessed enough to have her
And
on.
it's my 1 year anniversary today. Not to
Woo,
cut you.
yeah, and look, you get to be on my show. Congratulations so
Thank you.
much. And she's a producer. So you guys, without further ado, Miss Tiffany, tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
Hey, okay. Once again, I know it's like everybody probably like they so busy thanking each other they can't get through, but definitely thank you for having me. It was a blessing to meet you a couple years ago. We met at the Bosses Brunch on the East Side, so shout out to that. That was an
Yeah.
amazing event full of powerful women. The energy was amazing. I
It
did a
was.
clean comedy show. So you got to see me do clean because a lot of people say it
Right.
can't happen, but I'm really good clean. I try to tell them that. I'm too dirty all the time, but I'm good clean. Right, Pam? You saw it.
I did. I'm a witness. I'm a witness.
Thank you. Sometimes you need a witness
That's
today.
right. That's right.
And so like you said, right now I have a book out called Faith Over Fear,
Yep.
Tales of a Retired Hood Rat, which is a motivational memoir. It's my first book that I published in the beginning of the year. And then I have a cookbook coming out on Black Friday. It's called The Hood Rat Kitchen. It is a vegan cookbook designed for people who are not vegan, but who are just looking for different ways to have different recipes to diversify their palate, to just maybe try. And a
Right.
lot of the recipes I have in there, I'm not one of those Peter, vegan, but I'm gonna kill you. No, I'm not like that. Smell
Right.
that's not me. So it's designed for you to be able to customize these vegan recipes however you see fit. I'm very proud of that. Once again, like I said, that's on Black Friday.
Mhm.
Also have a comedy special out on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Um, it is called Getting Off, not Getting, because a lot of people can't find it because
right, right, right.
Getting. We ghetto. We in Detroit.
Right, right, right.
Getting Off on Amazon Prime, which is a 30-minute special. It's 5 parts. They showcase Detroit the first season. I was the only female on there, so I'm episode number 1.
Mm.
I have a hot dog cart
That's
called
right.
Dogs. I've been owning that for 15 years. It's been primarily in downtown Detroit. Of course, this year with Corona and COVID, we changed just to keep everyone safe. We really changed our strategy and we did a for hire model this year, which was where I only went out to events where I knew exactly how many people were going to be there, where they
Right.
were able to ensure that we had a great safety protocol versus just my everyday traffic. So I changed the structure of that. Yeah, I have a radio show, the Retired Hood Rap Morning Show. Today is our 1 year anniversary, 1 year ago. Today I embarked on that. That's on the Streets Radio, which is Streets with a Z, 313, which is a mobile app, Black-owned app, by the way, Black-owned radio station. Um,
Wow.
music 24 hours a day. You know, you can catch us every Monday from 9 to 12. We call it Manifestation Mondays. I was a social worker for 14 years.
Yes.
I did protective services, children protective services, adult protective services, foster care, independent living services. I was a social worker for 14 years before I quit my job 2 years ago to pursue my dreams in entertainment. And I'm also producing my first production. I mean, I'm a producer as far as events. So I've
Right,
thrown comedy shows. We ran an
right.
independent tour where we did 18 cities. And that was something that we did. I had a manager at the time, but it was about a 2-3 man team, and we put that together. So I produced a lot of shows, but this is now I'm producing television. Um, yes, so
Wow.
Lion Vision Films, and then we have a development coming out called the Rugo Network, RUGO, which is going to be a streaming service just like Netflix, just like Hulu, but it's Black owned, y'all, and
Oh,
it's coming out in January. I'm extremely proud to even just be a part of that. And I have a Detroit comedy documentary coming out on that network that I'm producing right now. So
I was just
just
like,
a
that's
few things
so
that I'm
needed.
doing.
That's so, this is something, just a small something. Oh my goodness. Just a little smidgen.
Just a little bit.
How do you make time for all of that?
You know what? I think my strategy is always to be doing 2 things at once.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And not all the time, because like an interview like this, at the same time you're talking and I'm connected with my girlfriend. I feel like we're girlfriends.
Right.
Also promoting, also talking about what I'm doing. Everything I'm telling you, I was raking leaves yesterday and doing squats at the same time. So I'm like,
I
look,
understand. Got to get it in.
gotta take care of the crib and work out.
Right.
If I'm editing something, I'm usually probably watching something else. Um,
Right.
Maybe even if I'm not watching, if it's just on and if something catches my attention, it can never be one thing at a time.
Right. I
I
so agree
always
with
have to
you.
do two, and the time management is so important, Pam. It's
I,
like,
I just talked to my client about that. I'm like, if only time management is the key. Right.
I mean, and without time management, and I think that there are so many things that we can get done, especially with technology, because
So
back in
true.
the day, you used to have to physically be there. Back in the
Right.
day, I would have to physically be there with you for us to do this.
So
Now
true.
we can do this now, over the internet.
Right.
Also, your sleep schedule is so important. So if you know you got to get up early or you have a lot to do, prepare yourself to get a good night's rest and get up
Absolutely.
early.
Right.
If
Because
you don't have to get up early, take a nap.
I know that's right. Self-care is important, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Real quick, we have from Mary. She says, "So good to meet you, Tiffany. Love to hear more. We'll replay again." She says, "Hi, Pamela. Wow, Black-owned radio. I promise you, I've been following if Tiffany. I follow her on the radio, so I know about the radio and all." Jacqueline says, "You ladies look beautiful." Thank you, Jacqueline. And so thank you.
That's Jacqueline, and I only got to see the comments to know who that is. That's my big sister on there.
Oh, sorry, I understand because Jacqueline, I understand.
Please, because I don't want to hear about it later. It's like, no,
why didn't you correct her while she was on there? Because we got correct and we correct. No, why didn't you say something? You heard her saying the name over and over and over. Not right. Tip is the truth. She sure is. I love her to death. I promise you. But everyone, thank you. Keep the comments coming. We love it. If you guys have any questions, keep them. We're here for you. So let's go back a little bit. As you were in the corporate world, how hard was it for you to the crossover from corporate to entrepreneurship?
You know what? I think that it was very difficult. First, just to give just a tad bit of a background, which is one of the reasons why I wrote the book, The Faith Over Fear, The Tales of Retired Hood Rat, is because first, my parents met fresh out of prison. They met in a halfway house. When they were in a halfway house, they didn't know each other, but they ended up getting pregnant with me, and they both had spent a substantial amount of time in prison. So that's all they really knew. And they were just trying to figure it out. So I grew up in the hood. I grew up around a lot of drug addiction, around a lot of mental health, just from my overall neighborhood, my parents, just a different type of situation. And that's why I always use the moniker retired hood rat. I get a lot of flack for that, but I don't care because it's just a part of my story and a part of me embodying what was once seen as negative, which was seen as negative, or where I had a glass ceiling on my life because of where I came from, that I broke that. So I don't mind using that moniker. And I like to show people that it doesn't matter where you come from. You can be whoever you would like to be. So when I turned 18, I ended up going to college by myself. So I was the only person there by myself. I went to a HBCU, so you can't see my shirt. But I went to Dillard University in New Orleans. I had never been to New Orleans. I didn't know anyone in New Orleans, and I caught a Greyhound bus there. I had about $400 in my pocket, and I ended up getting my college degree in 4 years. Worked for the state, and then I also went on to get an MBA from the University of Detroit Mercy. So for me to be a social worker, especially people who know me growing up, they like, you, how the hell you telling somebody what to do? So for me to be a social worker was like it was so monumental for me and for my circle, and just changing my circumstances, changing the people that I was around. You know, I started smoking weed when I was 11. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 13. So it was just so much of a drastic change that I just was like, I made it.
Right.
You know, I get a state car, I get a state phone. They calling me Miss Barber.
Right. You said, I made it now. I know that's right.
Right. You know, and then I ended up going to business school, and I ended up traveling the world, and I met some of my best friends in Spain. And shout out to my girl, Rebecca Coleman. She just got elected judge in Harper Woods. I met her in Rome. Oh my God. She's district judge of 32A.
Okay.
I love it.
Yes.
But those were different type of people from the type of people, you know, I grew up with. So it was very hard. I only say that just to show how hard it was, because imagine all that I went through to get there.
I totally get it. I totally get it. Especially, I'm in the corporate world now, and so many women are sitting back at the desk like, oh, I don't even know how to even begin. I get so many times women are like, how do you even figure out how to get to the next level? And you, after a while, it is hard, but you know you're calling, and you have it in your gut, and that feeling in the gut will not let it go. It won't go.
It will not. And when God, one thing that is amazing about God, no matter what God you believe in, when I say God, I'm not saying Jehovah, I'm not Allah, I'm not negating any group. When I say God is whoever you believe God is, but God is so amazing. And when
Right.
you start to really tap into your inner power, your inner self, and you really start listening, because a
Mm,
lot of times we think we're listening because we're going to church, because we're
right.
praying, because we know ecclesiastics.
Right.
Say some a real churchgoer, they'll pull out a one ecclesiastic. What? What?
So
You know,
true.
real
You're right.
person.
You're right. And right. And they be girl. And then be like, well, what did they say? They be like, I don't know.
And not even listening to, and
It's
not even processing what it's telling you, just really reading words. So when you start tapping into, because God talks, has a personal relationship with each and every person.
absolutely
And when you start to listen to that, that's when you say, hold on, it's faith over fear.
right.
I know it's because it was scary. Let me
Yes.
tell you something. Pam, all I saw was myself homeless.
Listen.
And I got a 14-year-old son.
Yes, you
So at
do.
the time he was 12, I have a house. I just purchased a house. I don't have a husband. I don't have a man.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm about to quit this job. Everybody's like, huh? Girl, you
I
turned
understand.
what?
Right. And
Huh?
look at you. But look, so many women are just like, I can't. How many times have you heard that? I can't
All the
do it.
time.
Right. All the time. All the
2
time.
years later, my water's still running. So you see the lights on. Y'all see the lights.
And you put that in the post. You said 2 years later, look where I'm at. Look.
Just to inspire, because I took a lot of concessions. Now,
Mhm.
one thing is that preparation is key. And I think that it's a difference. Some people are underprepared and some people want to be overly prepared.
So
You
true.
will never, because human want is insatiable,
Right.
you will never ever be exactly where you want to be at any time.
So true.
And I think a lot of people give themselves the illusion that to leave that job, to leave that bad marriage, to get out of that bad mortgage,
Right.
to fix their credit, to be a better parent, that it just goes from
Yep.
this to this. It's steps. It's a
Yep.
process.
It is.
And the first part is just being dedicated,
So
because
true.
no matter how much you have, you can always have more. But as
Yes.
long as you can get to a point where, because for me, so like for instance, I'm a comedian first and foremost. People ask me all the time, what does success mean to me? Because we see success, we thinking
So true.
Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Will Ferrell. To me, if I can make a living doing what I love to do, I'm
Yep.
successful.
You're doing what you love and you're doing your purpose and your passion. And that's all it needs. The rest will come. The rest will so come so easily. Any regrets in the any regrets to where you are now?
It's always some regrets now. There are regrets that are not regrets. Let me say that. And I know that sounds very contradictory, but what I mean by that is I can't say that I would do those things differently, or that I shouldn't go through the negative things because they made me who I am.
So true.
Do I regret them? Maybe if God let me go back, I would change it, but probably not, because it probably wouldn't lead me to where I am today.
I mean, you are. Do you hear me? Since we have met, I just been following you all the way, so I couldn't see you being different or we're at any place else. I can't see that. I feel that you are right where you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're doing your passion and your purpose as God wants you to do. So, you to go back and do something different, I think then you would be back struggling to where you need to be today. So you are an amazing woman. But real quick, girl, we have a lot of comments. Let me go back
I
here.
would say, oh, thank you.
I know, right? Let's see here. We have your friend, it must be Jamar. Jamar says she is at A plus plus plus. Mary says, yes, beautiful, powerful women. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Nancy
Mary.
says, so glad to be here. We're glad to have you here. She says, tell the crossover story. And as she did, Jamar said it was not hard for her. This is what I was laughing at when you were talking. And I had to get back because he wrote it was not hard for her because she was off the chain at work anyways. And then you go, Nancy found at work daily. I
Hey,
can see
Jamar, we telling all the secrets. I was off the chain that way.
Nancy said, so brave. Tara said, congratulations to the both of you, powerful women. I've been following, Tiffany B, since I moved here 4 years ago. Absolutely talented. Keep
Oh, thank
grinding.
you.
I know that's right. Nancy said, congratulations. And she also says, I hear you on this. Jamar says, very bright, smart sister, ride or die sister. Mary says, amen, faith over fear. Kevin says, congratulations. And then Nancy says, feel like we stuck in preparation mode. Yes, preparation over, undone.
But like Nancy, but just to speak on that, because that's what I was speaking of when I mean preparation. Because what happens is, so for instance, just a blanket example, or forget a blanket example. I'll tell my story. So I was working and I was doing adult protective services at the time. And my coworker is the one who introduced me to comedy. Shout out to Monique King. She invited me to an open mic, and she gave me 3 minutes time. It was something that was on my bucket list.
Yes.
And what happened was I had a very traumatic and bad incident about 2 months before I started comedy or whatever, where I was, it was like a violent incident or whatever. So I was a little down about that. But in that negative and one of the probably the worst, and I've had a lot of bad stuff happen to me, trust me. We'd have been robbed, I'd have shot somebody, all kind of stuff. This was one of the worst to me for where I was at the time of my life. But the people that I was around before tried to convince me that comedy was not for me, that I wasn't funny enough, that I was goofy, but nobody wanted to see me as a stand-up comedian. So when the incident happened, and I didn't have that negativity in my ear, it allowed me to go for it. I went for it. I was in love. Like, wow, God opened this door. God opened that door. God opened this door. And then he put the thought in my mind. Because sometimes God talking to you is a thought.
Right.
You looking for something deep. You want the sky to open up and say, oh,
right.
Pamela, I
I'm
want
here
you
to do this.
Corner, turn to the right, and there goes a pile of money. You know what I'm saying? That's how I don't know how we thinking. God just like, oh, Pam, at 9 o'clock, I want you at the Volkswagen dealership. A man will come. He's your husband. It's like, no, that's just, but what he does is he puts a thought in your mind. The thought was, you're going to be a comedian. You're going to make people laugh. You're going to change lives, and you're going to make it, and you're going to be big. Scarier than I ever would like to think, but it's the thought that came into my mind. When that thought came into my mind and I realized how much I loved what I was doing, I loved it to the point where I would do it for free. I loved it to the point where I could not stop promoting it. I loved it to the point when people call me, they got a couple dollars, I'm coming. You want me to do, you got a chicken sandwich? Chicken. I'll be there. Okay, you got some juice? Oh, I love kiwi strawberry juice. I'll be there. Like.
I get you. When you're doing your passion, when people reach out to you, you're like, I'm like that too. When people are like, Pam, can you talk to me? And I'm like, I sure will. Let me go ahead. If you love your passion, you will do your passion for whatever it is to get connected to those individuals. Because you never know who you're going to connect to. But man.
You never know. And then so as I kept going on, what happened was I started looking into my 401k and seeing, could I, and this is something I learned as an MBA, which was that, and that's why I came into comedy a little different, because I viewed it as a business. Mm-hmm. Yes, I love it, but this is still a business. So that's what helped me produce shows. That's what helped me sell tickets. That was helped me market myself at that time, especially being in Detroit, because Detroit is not an entertainment. Let's be honest. True. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Hollywood. I'm not in New York. I'm right here in the Dirty D. Sorry, I love you, Detroit, but I'm just like, so I had to start preparing, and they had opportunities here to buy cheap housing. So let me be honest. So Nancy, I sold my house. I bought a house in the city that was cheaper. I took the equity that I earned in my house. I bought another property. I fixed it up to rent it out. I got rid of my brand new car. I went and bought some hoopties. So for about 2 years, I'm talking about I had the type of hoopties where
Yep.
if I wanted headlights, I had to dry this one. If I wanted to listen to the radio, I had to dry that one. If I needed some heat, get in this one. If you don't care about heat today, get in that one. If you going to the suburbs, get in this one because this one tail light busted. It was like that.
I understand. You
It
ain't
was
got,
ball.
yeah.
Um, and it was and it was a blow to my self-esteem. Let's talk about
Mm,
that. Because a
yeah.
lot of times we think we're supposed to be riding high every minute. I felt low.
Right.
For me to have graduated from college and had this amazing career where I was making this money, I had a business on the side. I kept a new car every 2 years. I lived in the suburbs. So to move back to the city, which was actually a blessing. Oh my God, I'm so glad I got Detroit because it's some of the white people taking over. I got in right before the takeover. But to move back to the city and for my friends and family who saw me riding high to see me in these hoopties and I'm parking way in the back and everybody like, who car is that? Damn. Like damn.
Right.
And
Right.
to be dressed up and you hopping out this, people like, that's the girl I just paid the money to her, and just to go through all those motions. I didn't have any furniture in my house for the first year. I had some money, but I knew I needed my money
Right.
because first off, I had to pay for my own travel.
That's
I
right.
traveled all across the country and paid myself to meet other comedians, to go to other comedy clubs, to get the exposure. That was all my money. I still had to keep my hair done. I still had to look a certain way in
Absolutely.
order to present myself. I still had to buy outfits because trust me, y'all petty on the internet and you wear some too many times.
People
Everybody be talking about,
just
oh,
gonna
that must be your favorite outfit.
say, and that's true. And that's true. Wow, that is amazing. So then let me ask you this. It's just so amazing to hear that. But what advice do you have when a woman is sitting in the corporate world like, okay, she did it. You know how they feel like, okay, she did it, but I don't know if I can do it. What is your advice for that?
You can do it. And what I always suggest is that if this is something that you want to do, that you start doing that while you're still working. First off, it lets you know if it's something that you really want to do. Because sometimes we think we want to do
True.
something, and then you get to doing it, you like, oh, that's what this like with hot dogs.
Right.
Everybody want a food cart, but they don't understand that it's an hour of cleaning before and it's an hour of cleaning after. I burnt myself more times. I might have to work in the freezing cold and come in and out. So everybody like, yeah, I want to sell food and have a food truck. Well, did you know that you're gonna be dirty? You're gonna smell like chicken all day and fried French fries. You ain't gonna be able to keep certain hairstyles. Nails, no.
Right.
So you have to know these things and practically work there. So that's what I would suggest. One, ease into it. If you want to start a newspaper, start writing some blogging.
Yes.
Start getting in touch. Start going to these type of events and immerse yourself because you don't want to quit your corporate job or career for something that you really don't want to do.
Absolutely.
Do
Absolutely.
that for a year or two. And if you are so passionate about it, because trust me, your talents will make a way for you. Faith without works is dead.
Yes.
And I don't know what Bible verse this is. Somebody from the church. I know it's a verse that say your
Right,
talents will
right.
make room for you. I heard it. My pastor said it.
Right, right. But you're right though, and I'm so glad to hear because women, I want you to know, men and women, I want y'all to know the reason why I brought Tiffany on is because y'all already know my story. I sat back and I did everything everybody did. I let fear, fault, and failure hold me back. I let it control me so bad that I weighed over 400 pounds. I did everything everybody wanted me to do, but I was still miserable until that day I got that poke. Now, okay, first I thought it was a twitch, so I ignored it. But then I got it the next day and it was a little harder poke. But then the real testimony of what I was to do was when two of my mentors at two separate times talked to me and told me it's time for me to quit. And matter of fact, it was so bad. One of my mentors was my boss. She said, in 20 and 30 days, you will have no job. So here we go. But she showed me that allowed me to see what a true entrepreneur was, what it take to be an entrepreneur. And did I even want to do it? But man, that was when I was hooked because she traveled me around, but I had to work. And so, ladies, I tell you this because I want you to know I'm out here doing it. And if I can do it, Tiffany is doing it. So if we can do it, y'all can do it. And it's hard, but remember, you also have to have a good support system and a good plan. Now, if you don't have it, well, now you have a place that you have a support system. And I tell you all, every show, I have thousands of women that can help you get to where you can't get to. If I can't do it, look, I have Tiffany. I didn't have so many women on different shows to help you get you to the next level. So there's no excuses. So if anyone's out here who's needing help to get you to your what's next, drop it in the feed below. Tiffany and or I will be in contact with you to help you to get you to that point. Real quick, I'm going to take a break here. Then we're going to bring Tiffany back in here. But real quick, you guys, as you know, the first half of the show was sponsored by Hurt and Poet LLC. She is a content writer and she helps flex your voice through the writing. So this second half of the show is all about going after your what's next. I do it through coaching. I also do it through, as you see, the podcast. So if you're wanting to know more how to help you, how to get you to your what's next, drop it in the feed below, and I definitely will be in contact with you to help you get to your what's next. We still have time, you guys. 2021 is still a month and a half away. So do not use the excuse you don't have time. You do have time. You can make time. You're making time to sit here and listen to us so you can grab your pen and paper to make time for yourself. So definitely reach out to me. So Tiffany, real quick, let's get back here. Time is going by fast. So I know, doesn't it? When you're doing what you love, it goes by so fast. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about self-care. And so I believe in that so many times, especially you're doing girl, you have a list. I thought I was bad. I thought I was bad doing everything, but girl, you done wrapped around me, hit high five, and kept it going. So how do
Trust me, I be around some people that doing 20 more things than I'm doing. I'm like, dang.
Right. I'm like that. I'm like thinking, okay, I'm gonna really have to pick it up now hearing you. So what do you do for self-care for yourself?
Well, as you said, self-care is very important. And I think that a lot of people negate the fact that if you are not okay, how can you take care of the next person or your customers or your family? So for self-care, first off, I love showers. And you may not see a shower as a self-care, but it's all about your intention. So if you get in the shower and you're just washing up to get out, or are you getting in the shower to feel the water running on your body, to have your special aromatherapy in the shower? I love shower bombs because I love lavender and I love those scents because it makes me. Are you dimming the light? Are you taking a hot bath?
Right.
Putting some milk, some Epsom salt in your bath? Are you giving yourself a break from your kids, for the parents? And I understand it's like kids, and you want to be super mom. Me, I need a break. I need.
Listen.
I'm like, I need one right now. So,
it's a wonder you don't hear. I have two grandbabies, and they're here. I love them to death, and they're 4 and 2, so I totally understand about the break.
And I got a 14-year-old, and I still need a break. Let me tell you something. He needs a break. He follows me around like this. So you have to make sure you do that. Another thing that I like to do is I like to vacation. So even in the midst of, because when I left my job, one thing I had to do was budget and be very strategic, but I still found ways. Airbnb is amazing.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. Even let's say you can't go anywhere. Let's say your car drive an hour away. You'll be surprised if when you look an hour away and find a bed and breakfast.
Yes.
Treat yourself to an amazing meal. Take a walk. One thing I lost in self-care is when I first left, I used to work out 5 times a week. And when Corona hit, I stopped working out and I gained 22 pounds, which I'm working back now on getting that off. But that was a self-care. And believe it or not, gardening. This summer, I discovered gardening, and I was addicted to it, putting my hands in the earth, just something for me, looking, smelling, just being in the sun. I like to, and I love, and when I wake up in the morning, I pray or I meditate for least 15 minutes to ground me.
Right.
I may have had a nightmare overnight. Maybe you went to bed on a bad note. Maybe you just need a boost because you know today is going to be, you can pray all that. You can ask God before you even step foot out that bed. You can profess that you are beautiful. You can profess that you are successful. I believe that using those words and saying those things to yourself every day, it emits it to the universe. So then the universe can then give it back to you. So those are some of the things I do. Like I said, I love vacation. And if you got a man, girl, it's going to sound nasty.
I know what you mean. I love
Or a husband.
right.
Let me not say a man, somebody gospel here.
My self-care is I love to go window shopping. Now, when I come to Detroit, because my sister lives there, I'm like, can we just go walk? And she's like, where are we gonna walk at? I'm like, you right. Then I'm like, can we walk? Can't we roll out somewhere else?
We got some places to walk, Pam. Just not in the hood. Go down.
She's like, we're not walking over there. I was like, okay. Well, can we go somewhere else? And so,
because you out there in Ohio, y'all can walk wherever.
Right. That's exactly what she said. She said, we ain't out there in the where it's open free. I'm like, what's that mean? She said, so she took me. I was like, oh, I understand now. So yeah, but I love to go window shopping. I'm like, well, where do you go window shopping? She said, not in Detroit. We don't. I said, oh, okay.
We do. We have a few. I think maybe now a little bit more because Woodward has really. Trust me, I've been downtown 15 years. So from where it is now to where it was, it's like nights.
Yeah.
So now tell your sister. Barb said, take you walking on Woodward and Jefferson, and y'all can walk all the way to the boulevard.
You know what? We used to walk. My dad used to have us walking all up in there, and he's like, "Don't you go by yourself?" Because we used to walk all over there. And I was like, okay, but yeah,
it was a point in time where the crackheads had took over downtown.
Yeah. It was bad.
You got it back, Pam.
Okay, I'm gonna try it back. I'm gonna have to go try it then. I'm gonna have to try it. But I so love this. I do love going, just walking around, looking at different shops and things like that. So as you're doing some self-care, are you reading any books? I mean, I know you got a lot going on. Do you do any reading? And if so, what are you reading right now?
Absolutely. You have to read. So right now I'm actually reading Public Relation for Dummies.
Really?
Yes.
So why are you reading that? What made you read that book?
Well, what made me read, first off, it was on my friend's shelf and it was free. Okay. Second, no. But I think that if you're in entertainment, and I think especially comedians, I'm gonna hone in on this a little bit because you have actors, actually. I mean, entertainment is such a big scope. But when it comes to comedians, especially the stand-up ones, let me say that, because you have comedic actors, you have improv comedians, stand-up, it's different levels, tend to think that all they have to do is be funny. And that's not true. It is a business. And one thing that I learned in business school is that you always constantly want to hone in on your skills. And public relations is a key skill that we need in all of these industries to promote whatever it is that you're doing. I have to look at myself as a product. Yes, I'm Tiffany. Yes, I'm who I am. But T Barb is a product. It is a brand. So at the end of the day, how can I better? I'm doing okay, but it can always be better.
Absolutely.
So the way to get it better is to learn new skills. I'm also taking a class on EDX, strategic social media management with Cornell University. EDX is an amazing resource. It's mostly free. And then I just got through reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
I just finished that.
It was good, wasn't it? By Sharper. It was really
good. Wasn't it good? I do read. I'm reading right now. I'm still reading The Compound Effect, which is really good. I need to work on that. I'm working on being better than what I am. So that's one book I'm reading on. I'm finishing up. I know I keep saying this, but I'm finishing up Damon John's last book, Power Shift, because I'm working on the power shifting, and I'm working on the last chapter of Habit of a High Performer. Now, I know y'all are probably like, how's she reading all these books?
I was just going to say that.
I don't read. I listen to Audible.
So, okay. I was going to say, come on now, Pam.
No, right. that
be like, I know people might be saying that about me, like,
I know they were like, I know how she doing all that. But if y'all don't know me, you know me now. I don't reading is not for me. But if I can listen to it while I'm in the car, while I'm walking, that's my out right there. I love to read.
Don't you love technology?
I know, integrate, integrate. We couldn't even been able to do this, so this
Nope.
couldn't be doing this. Let's see. Let's go back here. We have a lot of comments here. We've been Jamal says everybody wants a testimony, but don't want to be tested. That's so true. So true. Tekka, she said she gave a heart. So I thank you, Tekka. Danya said, good evening, Pamela. Thank you, Danya, for joining us. Nancy says, take the cutbacks to make it happen. Got to. You have to so much. It says here, your friend Jamal, he is so funny. I can't with him. Girl,
Listen, I used to work with him, and he's another one that stepped out on faith.
oh,
But listen here.
he's over here,
He is
and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. He goes, that's why she was late for working because she was in the showers too long.
First off, we always late. Let's just don't tell on me and don't tell on you.
That is so funny.
I'm gonna take a picture of my phone too. Boom.
Yeah, but it was so funny. This has been great. So everybody, as we are still talking and we're joking and everything like we do here in what's next podcast for women. What are your guys' win? You'll get to hear ours in just a few minutes, but we're gonna finish this up. Time has gone by so fast. So Tiffany, where can people find you? How can they connect to you?
Good question. Well, of course, I'm on Facebook as Comedian T Barb. That's BARB. I'm also on Instagram as TBARB_. That's T Barb _. You can also find me on my website. My website will tell you everywhere I'm going to be. For instance, this Saturday we'll be at an improv show. Of course, it's not as many shows with everything going on. We want to keep everybody safe. But I do have a few things coming up. You'll be able to listen to my radio show. You can also purchase my book, Faith Over Fear, Tales of a Retired Hood Rat, and that's www.tbarbisfunny.com. tbarbisfunny.com. You can book me there. You can, like I said, see what I got going on. It's a link to my Amazon Prime special. So very simple website, not all over the top, but you can hear my radio show. You can get a link to it. You can see my next performances. You can, like I said, I have sage sticks on my website as well, which kills 94% of antimicrobial bacteria naturally.
Okay.
So that's tbarbisfunny.com.
I'll definitely put it in the feed for those of you who want to connect with her. You guys got to be on the lookout and keep watching for her. Tiffany, have you thought to do an online comedy show?
I've done some, and I'm actually just got hired by a sorority to do one for them. So now personally, I haven't produced any.
That's what
but
I mean.
I have done some. And I was thinking about, I had a Sweeties Day show, which was like a social distance show. Right. I had very limited, people was mad, but that's the way we had to do it to to keep that room and space. And I was thinking about streaming that. I've done some stuff for like BASF Corporation.
Right, I've seen that.
I've done a few things, but not that I've produced. Not yet.
Because I wrote that on my list. I'm like, ask her, when is she going to produce her own comedy show? You have to think about it.
Good. I'm thinking about maybe I could do something. Black Friday might even be nice, but we'll see.
Right, play it on. That's okay. Keep it on your list. I'll remind you. But definitely, what made you go to do the vegan cookbook? What made you do that?
Okay, so what made me do that is because first off, when people think vegan, they think this is gross and nasty. Second, I'm tired of either having to eat a salad or junk food.
Yes.
It's like nothing in between. It's like either you're eating a kale, and when you think salad vegan, people don't even give us regular lettuce. They're like, they eat kale.
Right.
I'm like, dang, I can't eat no man no more. Like,
get something
So I got tired of salad or either French fries and a Impossible Burger, which has 250 grams of fat.
Yeah,
So it's like, I was like, okay, so we're the in between, you know.
right.
So I started coming up with my own recipes. And at first, I used to go live on Facebook, which I need to
Yes,
start doing. And I
yeah.
used to do Good Red Kitchen videos, and I would cook and show different recipes. So people started asking me to cook. And it's funny how I started cooking. I did not set out to be a chef. I did not set out to cook for other people. I've always loved to cook. A friend of mine asked me to come talk about being a vegan at a
Mhm.
like a thing she was having, this health thing. And I
Yes.
told her, nobody wants to hear me talk about it. I should cook something in front of them. So I brought this griddle and I brought some spaghetti squash. I said, well, I'll give little samples and it'll be real cool. When I got through with that, some people approached me and asked me, do I cook? Asked me when would I cook. The next day they called and asked me would I come to their yoga studio and cook
Wow.
for them. The next day I came to their yoga studio. Then they were at this cannabis council office. They
Yes.
asked me to come back. So then I came back the next week, and that was really the start of the Hood Rat Kitchen. The cookbook came from people always asking me about the recipes that I prepared online. And I was like, you know what? Because I'm a businesswoman.
Right. We just said, let me make. I'm
Let me help people because a lot of people are lost when it comes to vegan.
yes.
Let me make this normal.
Right.
If and let me do something for the community, and also let me do something that builds my brand. So I really feel like because I started my journey, and I talk about in the book, they're gonna love it because it's not just recipes, it's little
Right.
excerpts that you can read in between. And I think that maybe that's why God asked me to make that sacrifice for Lent 4 years ago,
That's right.
because maybe that was supposed to lead me to where I am now with the Hood Rat Kitchen. So
Too cool. Too cool.
yeah.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap this up. But before we wrap this up, two things. One, what's your win for this week?
My win?
Yes,
What you
ma'am.
mean, like when I'm what? Win
Right.
what?
Look, I know, right? Win what? What's your goal? What goal did you meet today, this week? I know you got 50 million of them, Tiffany. I know you did. So
This
don't.
week or today? It's like no. Well, my goal this week was to put the finishing touches on the cookbook, which I did today,
Yay.
and also I'm trying to do some preparation. So really, it's to have myself prepared. Let's say that,
Okay.
because a lot of times, have you ever like been working on a whole bunch of projects and none of them are at fruition yet, and you're
Yes.
just
Keep working on, keep working, keep working. Yep.
in
Yeah.
the stay motivated, and the
Yeah.
stay motivated, because believe it or not,
Absolutely.
it's very hard to stay
Yes.
motivated.
It is. You don't have to tell me. So that's a great win. I have to say my win, one of my wins is because I got to have my mentor on, but two, I just was on a girls summit, Conquer Like a Girl Summit. So that was huge. And the magazine is almost done. I
I'm so proud of you. I am so
know.
proud of you. You
Thank
you
you.
doing it, girl.
Oh, so that I have to say pushing. I have to say pushing through and keep going is really my win. I'm not gonna let nothing stop me. I have too many people watching me now, so but still I'm doing what I'm loving. So it's not even like sweat. It's no big deal. I'm no sweating off my back.
YOLO.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Miss Tiffany, before we go, what's the last thing? What would you like to leave our listeners and followers with?
Don't me let me think. I think that if I could leave them with anything, is to be your true and authentic self. Love yourself. And remember, you only live once. So if there's something on your mind, there's something you want to do, there's some goals you want to accomplish, there's somebody you want to talk to, there's a room you want to enter, there's a goal that you have, there's a place that you want to visit, there's something that you want for your life, do it. Because you never know what tomorrow may hold. You don't know how long you have here, and you better make this life your best one because it's the only one you're going to get, at least for us Christians. Now, you want to come back in the road.
We read each other like
That's it.
so know. Look, we read each other. I know that's right. Well, Miss Tiffany, this was a ball. I hope to have you back next year. I look, I'm gonna have to get me some money together because next year I'm gonna have to pay for you to come in here to be my guest. But this was amazing, and I want to thank you for even coming on here and saying yes, because if only you knew how long I had to build myself up. I'm gonna ask her. No, I'm gonna ask her. But listen, everybody, if you did like I did, waited, but you never know. And like we even talked, a no, you never know, it could be the yes. And I got a yes out of it. So you
See?
guys, I know. So ladies and gentlemen, please do not sit and just sit and saying your what ifs and I can't when you really can do it. I'm an example. But I want to let you all know, thank you all for joining us. This has been another amazing show. As I always end, go out here and be intentional. Be out here and go and do at whatever. As Tiffany said, do what you want to do and live your life, because guess what? You only get one of it. And so why not live it to the best and to the fullest as you're doing? And guess what? Go after your purpose and your passion. Until next week, you guys all rock. If no one has not told you, you guys are all amazing. And thank you, and take care of yourself. And mask up, everybody. Mask up. Right. Until next week.
Wash your mask too.
Right, right.
Wash it. You
Please.
shouldn't be having the same mask from 9 months ago and you ain't washed it. And not a paper mask. Nobody
Right.
better wash a paper mask.
Do something, you guys. But take care of yourself, mask up, and best wishes to you all. Until next week. Bye, everybody.